Astronomy was a critical component of Mayan mythology, and the astronomical significance of structures at Chichen Itza is due in large part to their connection to Mayan deities.
Chichen Itza, one of the most iconic and well-preserved archaeological sites in Mexico, represents a convergence of cultures and a testament to the advanced civilization of the Maya. Located on the Yucatan Peninsula, Chichen Itza thrived as a major political, economic, and religious center from the 7th to the 10th centuries CE, showcasing a unique blend of Maya and Toltec influences. Chichen Itza's history is divided into three main periods: the Early Classic, which is from 600 to 800 CE, the Late Classic, which is from 800 to 1000 CE, and the Terminal Classic, which is from 1000 to 1200 CE. During the Early Classic period, Chichen Itza was primarily influenced by the Puuc culture. However, it reached its zenith during the Late Classic, experiencing a renaissance marked by widespread construction and cultural exchange. Chichen Itza's unique character is attributed to the city's role as a cultural crossroads. The city underwent a significant transformation during the Late Classic period when it became a focal point for the interaction between the indigenous Maya and the incoming Toltec people from central Mexico. This interaction influenced the architectural style, art, and iconography of Chichen Itza, resulting in a unique synthesis of Maya-Toltec culture. The blending of these two cultural traditions is evident in the city's structures, reflecting a dynamic and interconnected Mesoamerican world. This architecture of blending of Maya and Toltec styles consists of iconic structures like the Pyramid of Kukulkan, also known as El Castillo. This pyramid serves as a testament to the advanced astronomical knowledge of the Maya. During the spring and fall equinoxes, shadows create the illusion of a serpent descending the pyramid, symbolizing the feathered serpent god Kukulkan. The Great Ball Court is another remarkable structure, showcasing the importance of the Mesoamerican ball game in Chichen Itza's culture. The game held both ritualistic and political significance, and the colossal dimensions of the court highlight its central role in the city's communal life. The court itself is a long, narrow strip approximately 545 feet or 166 meters long and 225 feet or 69 meters wide. The walls on either side rise to impressive heights, with each having a vertical hoop positioned high above the playing area. The precise dimensions and alignments of this court are a testament to the advanced architectural and mathematical knowledge of the Maya. The rules of the Mesoamerican ballgame varied across different regions and periods, but some general aspects were consistent. Players, often elite members of society, used their hips, elbows, and knees to propel a solid rubber ball through the vertical hoops. The game could be an intense and physically demanding one, and it sometimes had ritualistic elements, including the potential for human sacrifice. One fascinating aspect of this court is its acoustic design. Its features, such as the shape of the wall and the positioning of the audience seating, creates unique acoustic properties. It is said that a conversation spoken at one end of the court can be heard clearly at the other, a feature that likely enhanced the ceremonial aspects of the ballgame. The ballgame was often associated with myths of creation, death, and rebirth. El Caracol, an observatory with a distinctive round shape, attests to the Maya's advanced understanding of astronomy. The structure's alignment with celestial events, such as the movement of Venus, underlines the precision and sophistication of Maya astronomical observations.
Chichen Itza has immense astronomical significance and is a living testament of the Mayans' deep understanding of the cosmos and its patterns. The Mayans spent much time observing the sun, moon, and stars, and they likely understood much of the mathematics associated with the patterns of the sky. Chichen Itza is split into two parts. The first section, El Castillo, maybe the more well-known part of Chichen Itza, is the massive pyramidal structure with long descending staircases along the sides. El Castillo is heavily tied to the equinoxes. As the equinox sun sets on both the fall and spring equinoxes, a light show from the sun is displayed along the side of the pyramid, and it creates the image of a snake slithering back and forth along the pyramid. This enchanting light show is likely dedicated to their serpent god. This light show is the first piece of evidence of the Mayans' understanding of the sky. In order to create this snake, they would have needed to understand exactly when the fall and spring equinoxes were going to occur and align the pyramid perfectly to create the illusion of the snake. While the snake might be the most well-known aspect of Chichen Itza's astronomical history, there are quite a few other aspects that further prove the Mayans' understanding of the sky. Each stairway surrounding the pyramid has 91 steps, corresponding to the number of days that separate each solar cycle: the winter solstice, the spring equinox, the summer solstice, and the fall equinox. If you add all of the 91 steps together, it makes 365 steps in total all the way around the pyramid, which corresponds to the number of days in one whole solar cycle. The second portion of Chichen Itza also has astronomical significance and is called El Caracao. El Caracao was likely an observatory and used primarily to track the movement of Venus, but also used as a lookout to observe the heavens. The entire structure is aligned perfectly with the movements of planet Venus. Venus, to the Mayans, was considered the sun's twin and had significant cultural and religious significance. They used the changing positions of Venus to inform decisions about battles and raids. The building faces exactly 27.5 degrees north, which lines up perfectly with the northernmost extreme of Venus. The windows at the top of the observatory align perfectly with the southern and northernmost rising of Venus, which allowed Venus to be perfectly in view for observers. Clearly, the Mayans had a deep understanding of the heavens from the evidence found at Chichen Itza. If they could construct multiple structures dedicated to the patterns of the sky, what else could the Mayans have understood about the sky and the cosmos? What knowledge about the heavens did they possess that was lost to history? The Mayans and Chichen Itza are a great example of ancient astronomy and how intelligent and informed our ancestors were about the patterns they saw in the sky.
El Castillo was built in honor of the god Kukulkan, and therefore the structure is also referred to as the Temple of Kukulkan. Kukulkan is a feathered serpent with wings and the main deity of the Mayan pantheon. He was born to humans and grew so large that his family couldn't feed him. He had to leave the cave where he was raised, which caused the earth to tremble. So every year in July, he causes the earth to tremble once again in order to tell his family that he is still alive. Kukulkan is regarded as a creator god who brought the elements, in particular the rains and winds, to the Mayan people. Thus, he is extremely highly regarded by farmers, especially during their harvesting and planting seasons. Using his wings, Kukulkan can fly into the sky and talk to the sun, who also represents a creator god in the Mayan pantheon. Kukulkan symbolized life above and below the earth, and images of him in the temple depict him as a vision serpent tied around the figures of nobles. The phenomenon of the descent of Kukulkan, in which a zigzag pattern appears down the steps of the temple, occurs twice a year on the spring and fall equinoxes. The appearance of the serpentine shadow represents Kukulkan coming down to earth to commune with his worshippers and provide blessings for good health and harvest before going down on his way to the underworld. This represents Kukulkan's role as god of rejuvenation associated with the rains and winds. The time of year is also important, as the spring equinox in March marks the planting season and the fall equinox in September marks the harvesting season. In this way, Kukulkan was thought to bring good harvest by the ancient Mayans. In addition to Kukulkan Temple, El Caracol, or the observatory, is an important site at Chichen Itza. This observatory marks important celestial locations, specifically involving Venus and the sun. To the Mayans, the earth was at the center of the universe, with celestial bodies representing the gods, and the movements of those bodies representing the movement of the gods as they traveled from the earth to the underworld and other celestial locations. The Mayans carefully tracked these celestial bodies and often made sure to coincide important events with significant astronomical events. To the Mayans, the sun represented the god Kanich Ahau, an aspect of the creator god Itzamna. At night, he was thought to transform into a jaguar in order to pass through the underworld. He was forced into the underworld by Ixchel, the Mayan goddess of childbirth and fertility represented by the moon. Every day, the sun and the moon battled until the sun was forced to descend into the underworld. Venus represented the sun's twin, and this planet was extremely important to the Mayans. It was associated with war, and often battles would be postponed until they coincided with Venus's rise in the night sky. In addition, captured warriors would be sacrificed according to Venus's position. The people who built Chichen Itza were incredibly intelligent and possessed a strong understanding of astronomy.